Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
And a happy middle of the week to everybody across Arkansas land. I was about to call it halftime land. I don't think we've ever done that before. ESPN Arkansas land. River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, whatever you want to comprise our listening audience of. Hello. Great day. Beautiful day. Going to be another warm one. Another day without a game, but continue counting down to Arkansas Vanderbilt for the weekend. And lots to get to with two guests. Usually we have them on a Wednesday. Clay Henry joining us, bottom of the hour. Bill King, hour number 2. Let's say hi to the guys. Hey, Drew, Maddie, what's up today? How are you?
Howdy, Philip. How are you?
Feeling good today, man.
That
Feeling
is good to hear.
And a little bit bored these last 2 days. Not because of the show. Not because of the show. You
I was
guys
about to say,
are
you
boring.
not entertained?
No, I am entertained during the 2 hours that we're together. And maybe like the 2 to 3 hours that I spend pre-show getting revved up and ready to go, and got to psych myself up like a relief pitcher coming out of the bullpen.
Do some stretches. Got to make sure you're ready to go. That mic gets hot. You got to be ready.
What I need is somebody to give me the Matt Cronin treatment before the show starts. You never saw this. Cronin, who was the Razorbacks closer, 2018-2019, would have himself slapped in the face before he would emerge from the bullpen by Doug Willey. I've never seen anybody go through that sort of tradition. That's not the word necessarily. But, whatever you need to get yourself fired up. But I felt like maybe you saw me yesterday. I like yawned like 10 times in the minute before the show began, and it's got to be something about not having games to prepare for midweek, which I've been used to now for the last it's been like
last 10 weeks.
Not even that. There were basketball games midweek too.
Yeah.
And, leading up to every football game, there's a ton of prep that goes into every single football broadcast. So it's like these last couple of days, I'm like, that's why I said it felt like a preview of summer. Like it was a lot of idle time, not exactly sure what to do with myself. So I can read all these articles about the transformation of the NCAA, and now that the conferences apparently are going to get a lot of autonomy.
It's a lot of summer talk. It really is.
It really is.
We're getting there.
We're
here, actually. I mean, it's hot outside.
Not that it's hot.
There's summer talks. I mean, soon, and I know we can't talk about this around Bill King, but soon it's going to be list season, Mount Rushmore season. I mean,
no. We're not allowed to use the term Mount Rushmore season during the summer. That's a no. Between the hours of 11 and 1, it's a no Mount Rushmore zone.
Well,
unless one of us is actually visiting the monument in South Dakota.
Well, I do not plan on being anywhere near South Dakota in the month of June or July or leading up into August. But, life's crazy. Anything could happen. But you got to figure out a way in these later months, especially once baseball is over, of ways to psych yourself up, keep yourself up. And you talk about the Razorback pitcher that got slapped in the face. A guy that was at the University of Memphis about the same time I was. He's older than me. Former Tampa Bay Buccaneer tight end Alan Cross would headbutt people before every game. But he always had his helmet on, except for the Miami Beach Bowl, where I guess he was so hyped, he forgot that he didn't have his helmet on and grabbed a teammate and bam!
I remember seeing
split his nose open right there before the game even started.
I remember reading about that. I've seen video of like another of a football. Who was it that like was celebrating a touchdown and decided to ram his head into the wall as a celebration with the helmet on, which of course makes it all okay.
Yeah, makes it 100% safe. It's still brain trauma, but not as much brain trauma.
Yeah. Speaking of brain trauma, Brandon in Paris says he thinks that I need a good Eddie in Clarksville slap in the face to pump. Eddie, like Eddie doesn't slap you with his hands. He slaps you with his voice.
His words.
It's not even his words. It's just the voice. That's all it is. So I don't know if that's the kind of thing that's going to get me going today. But, we did have the idea for Eddie to sit next to the Whistler at the games this weekend. This is day 3 of Vandy Whistler Hate Week. I was asked a question earlier today. What's more annoying? Is it the Vandy Whistler or is it everything about Ole Miss, baseball specifically?
Oh,
it's like taking everything about the program encompassed into one thing against the most annoying fan in sports.
I'm going to go Vandy Whistler. I really am. Ole Miss is cocky. The Powder Blues are overdone now. And just the broness of their team. Because I'd like to say the frat mentality, but I was in a fraternity, so like I'd almost be making fun of myself.
Remember, my daughter figured it. She said that she was at the Ole Miss series. She said, "Dad, they have a bromance with each other."
Bromance, exactly.
Perfectly
the
described.
bromance that they have. It's all very annoying, but when you leave the ballpark, your ears aren't ringing. When you leave the ballpark, you don't have a headache. And with the Vandy Whistler, he not only annoys you mentally, but physically. I mean, literally physically. He gives people headaches to where they need to take ibuprofen, Tylenol, aspirin, anything to get their head from throbbing. So the fact that he can cause physical pain, I think, is more annoying.
Yeah, I think so too. Because it's just the sound. It's the high-pitched sound that just pierces your eardrums, and that's the thing that I would say annoys me more. And it's not like the Vanderbilt baseball program is innocent in all of this stuff too, because they do some precious things as well. They've got the cutesy little stretching routines between innings. And I know I was told the first time I saw Vandy play, and it was at their ballpark, tiny little Hawkins Field, which is, you'd look at it like this is where a national power plays. I mean, there are shoeboxes that are bigger than the dugouts at Hawkins Field. So I was told that's why they do the stretching routines every couple of innings, because the dugouts are too small. You know what? The dugouts at Baum Walker are just fine. They're quite large. Maybe not quite at the level of the major leagues, but they have some size.
They're pretty big.
And the Vandy guys still do their cute little stretching routines down the third base line anyway during that game. And when you use the term boys in your team hashtag, like there's a little bromance aspect to that too. Plus, the Spider-Man Sunday uniforms. Have you seen these things? I call them Spider-Man because the pinstripes, they're dark uniforms with white pinstripes, and the pinstripes are just the tiniest little, it's like a millimeter width, and it just looks like a Spider-Man web. It looks like they should be Spider-Man playing baseball. They stomp on the plate with every run they score. They have more scholarships than God created for baseball, which, by the way, when the conference, and this is to open up the conversation, too, about the conferences having more power. Once the conferences get the decisions about coach counters and about scholarship counters, you can kiss your Vanderbilt dominance goodbye, because that's where they've got their dominance. Look, you got to be smart to get into that school. There's no two ways about that. But it's practically a fully funded baseball team because of the need-based scholarships. When the SEC opens up scholarships, when they're allowed to, and you can have 18, 19, or maybe 27 full scholarships for a baseball team.
That'd be great.
Bye-bye, Vanderbilt dominance. Been nice knowing you. It's not going to last.
It won't last to the extent. I think they'll still be a great program just because they have that tradition. They've built it up. And there is something about, going to Vanderbilt. That is a great academic school. It's something that people like to talk about. I mean, have you ever met somebody that went to Vanderbilt? It's almost like meeting somebody that went to Harvard. They let you know. They remind you most of the time. Oh, when I was at Vandy, or when I was in the West End in Nashville, like, we get it. You were a Commodore, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're not as bad as Harvard people, but they're like just underneath. So, like, it's still a great school and it's a great program, but I think they will see their program start to slide because they won't have that competitive edge over everybody. And then ultimately the ballparks that Arkansas and LSU and all these other programs play in, that will make a much bigger factor when going after the same guys as Vandy. Because let's be honest, where do you want to play most of your games? Baum Walker or that shoebox in the West End of Nashville?
I agreed. And it's not that Vanderbilt's program is going to crumble. It's a matter of everybody else in the SEC being allowed to use the scholarship standards that Vanderbilt uses, essentially. And what that ends up doing is creating, and this will be the case, I think, in all the sports, because the SEC is in this unique position where they have fewer Division I sports to fund than those in the Pac-12, than those in the Big Ten. The SEC has more money coming through the conference than those in the Big 12 or the ACC. So there's just a lot more money for fewer sports. You know what I mean? And therefore, you can fully fund a lot of programs. And once the conferences are allowed to make the decisions on coach counters, just get set for, well, no more analysts, but a lot more full-time coaches and more money being directed towards them. You are going to see, because this is the direction the NCAA is going. And we've been talking about this for months, but now the signs are coming out from the actual subcommittees and committees of the NCAA that is doing the legwork of all of this.
Real quick, what's the difference between a subcommittee, a committee, and then there was another, in Nicole Auerbach's article, she mentioned one other different type of meeting group. Oh, a council. What is the difference? So does it go from subcommittee to committee to council? And what are the difference? They seem to be the same thing.
Somebody's got to look up Robert's Rules of Order to figure that kind of thing out, potentially. But I do know that now these committees, subcommittees, councils, whatever it is, are coming out with the idea that the conferences they're able to do away with divisions, and we'll get into that next for college football in order to have a championship game.
Real quick, two more in the article. I'm reading it word for word. Others were already batting around an existing NCAA rules modernization subcommittee, coaches associations, oversight groups, and or Division I council.
Well, it's all these.
That's
are all
a lot of different groups.
I think these are all the organizations would be the right word, because associations are outside the NCAA. Coaches Association, essentially the AFCA. These are the ones who have the influence on why rules should be changed and what they should turn into. That's probably a layman's way to put it.
A lot of conference tables. That's what it is.
But the fact of the matter is that the conferences are now going to be have more autonomy on making decisions for their own members, instead of just being the conferences that hold league championships and all like that. They're going to be doing a lot of the legwork that the NCAA did, where it used to be the same amount of scholarships for every school in Division I. Nope, it's going to be returned to the conferences. And then you end up with more of a mini major league in football and in baseball, and potentially in basketball, though the SEC is not the dominant program in college basketball. They are in football, they are in baseball, and it's going to get even more dominant in the near future. 877-377-6963. Quick break, and we're right back.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Evans Body Shop in Van Buren is a proud local business serving the River Valley since 2006. Thanks to our customers, our business is growing. We invite you to stop by, call, or drop in and visit with us about our new paint system, work efficiencies, and certification training program for our entire team. Our commitment to you is to continue to embrace new technologies and operational enhancements that provide the very best experience for you, our customers.
When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Jason Aldean says there's only two means of salvation around here that seem to work: whiskey or the Bible, shot glass or revival. He doesn't want to be stuck in these two ruts. He needs something in between to fulfill his dreams. Hebrews 7:25 says, Jesus is able to save completely those who draw near to God through him. Don't trust your spiritual strut or placing your butt in a church pew or bar stool, because all three will lie to you. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Dent Source, the leader in auto hail repair for over 20 years. Our certified technicians service all vehicles and offer a lifetime warranty. Dent Source will keep you on the road with a courtesy vehicle and offer free pickup and delivery. Dent Source, now open in Fort Smith.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Jason Aldean says there's only two means of salvation around.
I'm trying to break free from this sadness that I can't lay to rest.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
All right, so now the conferences apparently are going to get autonomy to do away with divisions or figure out however it is they want to decide how you put two teams into a championship game to decide conference supremacy. And of course, initially, the only way you could do it was by having divisions. SEC was the first to do it,
or at least having a championship game,
or have a round robin, the way the Big 12 does things now. So it's being returned to the conferences to figure it out themselves. And this is all going to coincide in the SEC with the arrival of Texas and Oklahoma. Until then, you probably keep your divisions. Because it does work out. 7-7 for two divisions seems to work out for the most part.
Yeah, and you still get two cross-division games. And for a lot of people, those are, pretty set rivalries when you talk about the famed third Saturday of October, Tennessee, Alabama, the South Overs rivalry with Auburn and Georgia. Then what is other
Georgia, Florida, cocktail party.
Yeah.
LSU Ole Miss is one that's been historical.
Well, I'm talking about cross division.
Cross division. Sure.
LSU, Florida, they play that one every year. That's cross division.
Don't leave out the Battle Line rivalry, Drew.
Oh, I'm sorry. And of course, the Battle Line rivalry, Arkansas versus Missouri, because who could forget the Missouris in the East? I mean, I don't know if anybody's looked at a map lately, but
well, that's
neither here nor there.
These are the games you got to figure out how to keep together, even in a pod system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the SEC is going to have to go to 9 games. Once Texas and Oklahoma come in, and you have this 16-team league, you can't just play 8 games. I would imagine you have to play 9. So I think you're moving in that direction too.
And we've been moving in that direction for quite a while because of the fact that I think most SEC teams want to play 9. I think for ticket sales, it's better. It gets rid of the cupcake week, the second to final weekend of the SEC schedule. Gets rid of those cupcakes, your Jacksonville States, your Monroes, and those type of games out there, and that entices better ticket sales. So I think most people want to move to 9 that way. And also, if you get to a 16-team game league like the SEC is about to do in 2025, can you really say you're one of the best 2 teams if you you're already kind of close there with playing just a little bit over half your conference, but you'd barely be playing half your conference. I mean, can you really determine who are the best 2 teams out of 16 off of games there? You don't play everybody, and to be honest, a lot of your teams won't even have similar matchups, so you couldn't even go off of records against common opponents because there's just too many teams. So you've got to go to 9 at least just to get over that 500 mark.
Well, if you have a pod system, then you're dealing with 4 pods. Essentially, call them pods. They're divisions. Divisions are dividing a league. So why are we going with pod?
Mm-hmm.
They're divisions, and you play your division team every year, and then there's, I would imagine, like at least one permanent crossover rival, because there are some of these games that you need to try to preserve for tradition's sake, and then the other five are sort of a rotating schedule. So you end up, in that case, every if somebody's with your program for 4 years, I think they'd play every team at least once. I don't know if they'd visit every campus at least once, but you'd play everybody at least once. And in that sense, you feel like you're in a league rather than the way it is now, where you play. Arkansas plays. I know they played Georgia 2 years in a row and really shouldn't have had to do that, but usually you play them every 6 years. Same with Florida. Same with South Carolina. So it's really a matter of how do you decide.
And at that point, are you even in the same conference if you don't see them for that long?
There's going to be so many identical records, man. I mean, the tiebreaker system is how this ends up. Is going to be in the hands of tiebreakers, and that's not the way you want to figure things out. Do you have an extra layer? Do you leave a layer of in-conference playoff to get to a conference championship
team? Do a semis?
You're not going to have a tournament the way you've got basketball and baseball, but maybe one extra week. Now we're getting a little bit crazy. Now we're talking about conference playoffs before we've even figured out how the national playoffs are.
Exactly. And by that time, the 2025 mark, where this would be a possibility with Texas and OU coming in, that's also when the contract up for the 4-team playoff is officially up, and that's the set date, the set year that most people are looking at, circling on their calendar, of when we're officially going to go to 6, 8, 12, or wherever we go. So we'd already be adding games there, and then you add an extra game. I mean, at that point, let's say they just went to 8, so that would add an extra game to win the national championship. So instead of playing, it's 15 right now, you'd be playing 16. We'd be asking these college football teams to play a full NFL regular season game at 17 if we went into a conference semi. So there's got to be a better way of determining the 2 best teams, or you just have a free-for-all, best record goes. And
well, that's what it would have to be.
And there'd be, like you said, there would be tiebreakers, but, I mean, it's a lot more I think it's easier on the athletes to have have tiebreakers, and yeah, some people are going to feel like they got cheated. But to ask somebody to play 17 games, and if we keep about the same timeline, we'd be talking 17 games in 4 months, 4 or 5 months.
It's a lot.
I mean, that's NFL level.
It's a lot. But eventually you just end up with tiebreakers because you're probably not going to have an extra layer of conference playoffs. But these pods need to make sense. They need to make sense in term. Do they have to make sense in terms of geography? They have to make sense in terms of competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Although if you're lining out divisions in 2024, are you supposed to worry about what the competitiveness of these programs look like in 15 years?
Because ultimately you'd like every program to be at the same level. You'd like everybody to be playing their best football at the time, especially when you're deciding this, because what are you going to do? How do you say, all right, Alabama, Auburn, we'll give you South Carolina and Florida. Okay, well, historically, South Carolina, that's an easy game. Auburn is a very up and down roller coaster. Right now, we don't know what we're getting out of Florida, so that could be an even playing field with the way that the other 3 pods would shape out. But who's to say in 3 years, Billy Napier doesn't have Florida, knocking off Alabama every year in Atlanta? And you know what? Let's be honest. Who's to say Shane Beamer doesn't get rolling with Spencer Rattler? Recruiting really picks up in South Carolina, and South Carolina becomes a threat in the East. It's hard to predict how things are actually going to go, because let's just go back 3 years ago. Chad Morris here at Arkansas, nobody would expect what's going on right now. So it's very hard to try to plan ahead like that to make things fair and balanced.
You're going by the landscape of what the league looks like when you're laying these new divisions out. And there are other things that factor into this. It's like putting Texas and Texas A&M in the same division. Well, A&M, are they going to agree to something like that? Can you force something like that on Texas A&M? That's not thing that the Aggies want to deal with. Maybe they have to deal with it. Who knows? But initially, I just tried to lay out a couple of scenarios of what this can look like. And in the back of my mind, I remember making schedules sounds like it might be a little bit easy until you give it a try.
It's not.
It isn't. It never is. I mean, especially with these historic rivalries that you want to try, that you have to keep together. Alabama and Auburn don't have to be in the same division,
but they have to
play every year. Same with Georgia and Auburn. I mean, Georgia and Auburn, therefore, would need to be in the same division if you don't have Alabama and Auburn in the same division, right?
I mean, you got to have the Egg Bowl every year. I think you got to play for the boot, Arkansas and LSU. I think I wouldn't put it as the must-have, but you definitely would like to keep the A&M thing going.
Tennessee, Alabama, a historic rivalry that's been incredibly one-sided, but still, I mean, that's a rivalry that's supposed to mean something to both of these programs, right?
Yeah, I mean, just for Arkansas' sake, I think you'd like to continue to play Ole Miss because it is a rivalry, whether either side wants to admit it or not. So there's so many different things that you have to keep, but we can get rid of the battle line. That's fine.
Well, over the insurance company's dead company. Well, we'll see how that goes, right? All right, Clay Henry in a moment. Brought to you by WT Equipment. Open at their new location in Springdale on the east side of the interstate between the Don Tyson and Johnson exits. WT Equipment, authorized New Holland agriculture dealership that serves our entire listening area. They carry a large selection of new and pre-owned inventory, so if you're ready to invest in your new tractor or other ag equipment, stop by WT Equipment in Springdale or give them a look online at WTEquip.com. Clay Henry is next on Halftime.
Hardworking simplicity and serious durability. That's the winning combination you get when you pair a rugged Workmaster utility tractor with a Dura-Disc heavy-duty disc mower, both from New Holland and Williams Tractor, now WT Equipment in Springdale. You'll maximize the tonnage of your hayfields by slicing a clean, close swath, up to 10 foot 4 inches wide, all while operating in confidence and comfort with a Workmaster tractor with high visibility all-weather cab. Stop by WT Equipment in Springdale today to learn about this unstoppable New Holland team.
Jose, how much longer till this dough's ready?
No one can bake gluten-free vegan goodies better than Surrey.
Wait, both Jim and Marion's last days are the same day?
But he needs to whip up a new shift lead without interviews burning his time.
Gotta get interviewing before my calendar is cooked. Oh, can you start?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard, so you can stay organized and connected all the way to the hire. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Always online at randallford.com. The accessories right now on Ford are incredible. And one of the things that y'all are doing on Ford F-150s and Rangers, even on the Bronco Sport, is offering some accessory incentives. Jordan, tell us about that.
Any new F-150 that is purchased within this time period or ordered, so you can come in and order it, you're going to get $1,000 worth of accessories for free on a Ranger F-150 and up to $500 on a Bronco Sport. So that's just free accessories Ford's giving you there.
$1,000 worth of accessory. What kind of accessories are we looking at, Jordan?
I mean, you name it, from floor liners, step guards, anything along those lines. Man, you can buy a tonneau cover with $1,000. There's a lot you can do with that kind of money.
And that is the best-selling truck in the industry. So come on by and see us at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Always online, randallford.com.
Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
Is this the right decision? Living with an aging parent can bring stress, uncertainty, and guilt. Ease those emotions and trust that they are safe and happy at Dalton's Place at Waldron. Living in this community improves the health, nutrition, and housing for your loved one, regardless of income. Private apartments allow your mom or dad to keep their independence while their health is always monitored. Contact us today to see if your loved one qualifies. Dalton's Place at Waldron, 520 West 2nd Street. Your well-being first.
When you want beer, you go to a bar. When you want top-shelf spirits, wines, handcrafted cocktails, and cigars, in an atmosphere benefiting a destination, you go to 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Try our new menu items including fish and chips, classic club sandwiches, Caesar and Cobb salads, or stick to your favorites, dine in or carry out. Enjoy our state-of-the-art air filtration system. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith. Doors open at 4 Tuesday through Saturday.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Each day we see familiar faces who have supported us from the beginning because they see the benefits of an active lifestyle. We're also always meeting new customers who are taking their first steps towards making running or walking a part of daily life. We have the opportunity to share in their successes and help them achieve their goals. The people of Fort Smith and the River Valley are why we believe we were voted one of the best running stores in America. Visit us and see how we can help you. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna cross that river. I'm gonna catch tomorrow now.
You're gonna wanna hold me just like I always told you. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
The Highwaymen carrying us into our first segment here with Clay Henry. Clay, how's things going? What are you up to these days?
I'm actually helping out on the June magazine of Hogs Illustrated. I just thought I was done.
Old habits die hard, though, don't
well, they enlisted me, and I was glad to do it. You can't just walk away from your baby. So helping out with a couple of stories and proofing copy and doing some stuff. They needed me, so
It's nice to be needed, isn't it?
Yep.
Even after it's like, your kids might move out. You might be an empty nester at some point. They still need you. Those things don't change.
Well, it was fun listening to Willie there. Little Willie, and what'd you say, the Highwayman?
The Highwayman.
Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, and Waylon Jennings.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was just missing your guy. It was missing George Strait.
George, yep. George.
I saw George Strait was on stage with Willie Nelson a week or so ago.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, good combination. So all right, what are they? You don't have to tell me like exactly what they're writing about for the June edition of Hogs Illustrated. But
well,
I do
it's
want
the
to know, like,
football preview.
All right, I was going to ask, is there any like move towards baseball postseason there, or is it mostly
no?
Football?
There's nothing really in. It's just straight football.
Mm-hmm.
There's one piece. And I wrote that today. I went by, had an appointment with Nolan Richardson for something that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks. I don't want to spill the beans on that. Doesn't have anything to do with the magazine. But we sat and talked for about an hour, and I just had to write a column about it. It was unbelievable. He's just such a neat guy. Our history goes back to when he was hired at Tulsa. I was the beat writer covering basketball in 1981 when he came there with Paul Pressey and Mike Anderson and that crew that won NIT. So we went through his museum room. There's pictures of that team. We talked about his cowboy boots. He has cowboy boots that have NR on them that also have like the hurricane flags on them. He's got an unbelievable collection of Tony Lama boots. And I think that usually a pair of those are auctioned off at the Yvonne Richardson Memorial Golf Tournament in September at Springdale Country Club. So that's we talked a little bit about that. But
I wonder about I know Nolan's propensity for boots, and I know he's from El Paso. I always connect cowboy boots to El Paso because the Travelers used to stay at a hotel right next to a Tony Lama outlet store.
Well, that's where Tony Lama. That's the. I think the factory is right there in El Paso, around there somewhere.
I think it was the factory outlet actually that was right by our Best Western Hotel with the Village Idiot restaurant in the middle of it.
Yep. I think there was one pair of lizard cowboy boots that was auctioned off for $40,000. He just puts the money right back into the foundation, stays in the community. But it's a beautiful ranch. I mean, it's just gorgeous. He still has 11 horses. So it was a fun afternoon for me.
He's no fake cowboy. He's the real thing, man.
No, he's the real thing. The muscles in his forearms tells you that he can wrangle those horses still.
It still does. No kidding. Hey, I wanted to get your thoughts on what a pod or a division, a smaller division for Arkansas football, because that's the direction that we're going in now that the conferences are going to get autonomy to decide how they put two teams in a championship game. And when you have 16 teams in this league, 2 8-team divisions probably isn't going to work, and you're going to play 9 games. Is Arkansas's future just automatically lobbed right into Texas and Oklahoma? Are these two teams that you're inevitably going to be stuck in a division with?
I would think so. And then, I think that, A&M and LSU could be there. I mean, it could be Missouri that's there. Missouri has, the ties with Oklahoma and most recently Texas. But so I think that you're going to still see, the Missouri rivalry, continue to flourish. And then you don't have one with Oklahoma, but you could sure build one. I think that one would build quicker than the Arkansas-Missouri rivalry.
Oh, for sure it would, right? Especially here in the River Valley, Clay. I mean, I can't tell you how many OU
I don't think
it's
just the River Valley.
Yeah, but I know I see at least a dozen OU logos just driving around Fort Smith every day. So it will.
It's the same thing in Rogers and Bentonville and Fayetteville. It's not any different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see the license plate that it's half OU, half Arkansas. You see those license plate. So many educators have left Oklahoma for Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas schools are just better. And, So, teachers from all over Northeast Oklahoma are now embedded in, the school systems there. Rogers and Bentonville and Springdale and Fayetteville. Those are really great school systems. In comparison with what's happened education in Oklahoma, that they're just a horror story about their education system. So you have all of the, it started a long time ago. Like Charlie Cooper recognized that, left Oklahoma. He's Sam Pittman's mentor, coached at Rogers. But yeah, I think that's Oklahoma and Arkansas and Texas, they got to be in the same pod.
Yeah, it seems like it just makes too much sense, especially with Texas and the Southwest Conference ties and OU geographically and everything.
You need a weak team to put in there, and Texas fits that.
I knew that's where you're going, Clay. But with this announcement that they're going to let each conference decide who's their best, whether that is pods, whether it's getting rid of divisions, or whatever. Are conference championship games important when you get to this point? I mean, there's something that I've always known, but I've only been on this earth for 27 years. They haven't always been important. Do you think we could ever get back to just best record wins, tiebreakers, and that's it?
No, because I think that you're probably missing the real importance of the conference championship. It is not to declare a conference champion. It is to make money. It is an unbelievable source of revenue for the conference office, and that's what runs it. I mean, that's what keeps the coffers just piled up. I'm sure there's some, there's TV money that's split apart, but that conference championship was just exactly what they needed in Birmingham. And it was a coup for them to do it, and CBS jumped on board, and it will continue to be a cash cow. And if it goes away, I will be stunned.
The same as basketball tournaments,
that's what it's for. It's to raise money.
It's the same idea. The Big Ten and the Pac-12 used to not do basketball tournaments, and then they finally came around when they realized how much money one weekend of television can make them, which is essentially what you do with these championship football games too. And it's too much. It's too much money to say no to. Hey, we got to take a phone call. We got Ryan in Hot Springs that had some information on some of these. Again, I don't want to call them pods. I like the idea of division still because we don't say pods in any other sport. But, Ryan, what do you have on these division things?
Well, so I actually have a pretty good friend of mine that worked. He is no longer there. He moved on to another school. But he worked in the compliance department for the University of South Carolina. They somehow was allowed a glimpse at what the SEC was tossing around. The pod he saw us in was us, the two Mississippi schools, and LSU, and then they had the Texas A&M, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas in that pod, and they called it the Big 12 pod. And I'm not joking. I'm being dead serious right now. But that's all I got. I hope y'all have a good day and go Hogs.
Well, and I played around a little bit with this, Clay. Like I made two different sets of divisions. One of them was Arkansas, Texas, Oklahoma, A&M. The other was Arkansas, Mizzou, Oklahoma, A&M. But I see the direction that Ryan's talking about here.
No, that could happen. I mean, I don't think that's where it's going to go, but it could happen.
I agree with you too. And it's like Missouri and A&M got out of the Big 12 into the SEC to get away from Texas. They're going to end up maybe, if Ryan's right here, potentially lumped into a division with Texas and have to play them every year. But it's not going to be the same Texas. But Texas still apparently thinks they are. Got any more questions or comments? 877-377-6963. More with Clay Henry as we'll wrap up the first hour next.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling.
Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Ashley Air wants you to save $2,000 off on a high-efficiency heating and cooling system during the Memorial Day Beat the Heat Summer Sale. The trained technicians at Ashley Air are experts in making your home more energy efficient with a new 15-SEER system or higher, which will provide you with a lifetime of energy savings and comfort. And with 0 down and 72-month financing, why wait? Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your money-saving install. That's AshleyAir.com. Ashley Air is a proud sponsor of Razorback Athletics.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Breaking news from our area. The recent hailstorm has left thousands with roof damage. The certified roofing experts at Elite Roofing are on standby. Call now, 479-478-8668. The hailstorm has left many with damage that needs immediate attention. Elite Roofing is ready. Licensed in both Arkansas and Oklahoma. Trust the professionals. Elite Roofing, 479-478-8668. Elite Roofing, one call does it all.
Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company has 2 locations, 1316 South Zero and 200 South Zero Street in Fort Smith, serving the glass and glazing needs of Fort Smith, Northwest Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma, commercial and residential. Tub and shower enclosures, mirrors, glass table, and countertops cut to custom size are just a few services offered by Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company. Arkansas Glass and Mirror stocks laminate glass, plexiglass, Lexan, window glass, and mirror and plate glass. For more information, call 646-4300. That's 646-4300.
Fishing never stops. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle has everything from jigs to raincoats, Todd Huckabee crappie rods, Bobby Garland crappie jigs, and stay warm and dry with a River West rain suit, the area's largest selection of Zoom plastics, Flash Mob Jr., Kitech swim baits, Mega Bass rods, plus rattle traps, life jackets, and rod and reel repair. Find all the top brands and everything you need at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 1 mile east of I-540 on Highway 64. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Randy Milam in Alma or Brad Howe in Van Buren about Shelter's home insurance.
Crush your hunger at TGI Fridays in Fort Smith with the new Chicken Slammers. TGI Fridays Chicken Slammers are chicken fingers tossed in our favorite sauces and tucked into a warm mini New England roll. Served with your favorite sides. Choose your flavor, Italian, buffalo, or whiskey glazed. And for dessert, try the new Peanut Butter Fudge Obsession. Oreo cookie crust, peanut butter fudge and M&Ms topped with vanilla bean ice cream and more. And don't forget it's happy hour all day every day at your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith at I-540 and Rogers. Order online at Fridays.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Well, I've had a wonderful career, but I think it's quite queer. So I'm writing this down in a song. I just couldn't resist, 'cause it's a nice little twist, and I think you'll agree this is just wrong. I ain't never got to sing one with Willie.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP, at Matt Travis, and at DBarrett36. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
And Clay Henry joining us here for our final segment of hour number 1. Clay got a big baseball series this weekend against Vanderbilt. It's another opportunity to get that RPI moving in the right direction. They went from 28th to 20th after beating Auburn 2 out of 3 on the road. Auburn was 4th in the RPI. Now get another number 4 in the RPI in Vanderbilt, but you get them at home. And I got the thought that 4 wins in the next 6 regular season games is going to win you the West Division, is going to get you a top 8 national seed, and that's no matter what happens in Hoover. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's it may not take that many, but yeah, that would do it. And I mean, you got enough of a lead. It's hard to imagine somebody going 6 for 6, right? One of these other teams. That's what it would take. Mm-hmm. Then you would be tied, but you still would have a great conference record. So you've got 16 now. You'd win 4 more, 20 wins in the SEC. And this is I think it's another strong year for the SEC. Everybody's beat up on each other. There's only Tennessee that's run away and hide. I think you're right, Phil.
Yeah. You're still looking at Tennessee, Arkansas, LSU, A&M, and probably Auburn, maybe even Georgia, hosting a regional. That would be 6 hosts in a regional out of 16 total regional hosts. I think 5 is near a guarantee. So I also agree. I don't think this is a down year for the SEC. It's just kind of they're beating up on each other right now, and the Hogs are less beaten up because they've been doing. I mean, heck, they've got the 2nd most wins in conference behind Tennessee. And I felt like they took a big step forward this last weekend at Auburn. You know, the last 2 teams to go to Omaha for the Hogs, they won rubber games at Auburn. There's something about Sundays at Auburn that you got to be mentally tough to win. And to me, they looked mentally tough this weekend.
I thought all 3 starting pitchers did their job. Hagen Smith, you can say, his control wasn't great, but he still, they only scored twice on him, right? Mm-hmm. 4 innings, something like that. 3 plus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Jackson Wiggins he pitched 5 solid innings. That's, to go to Auburn on the road for those 2 young pitchers, and Jackson's a sophomore, Hagen's a freshman. I think that's something that they can kind of hang their hat on a little bit. They wanted to see those guys step up, and they swung the bats a little better. Robert Moore certainly did.
Yeah, and that'll be big, I think. For one thing, to get the bats moving a little bit against a pitching staff that I think had some good stuff, and you face a pretty good young pitching staff for Vanderbilt this weekend. We got Hog Noxious on hold here. He wanted to ask you some stuff here, Clay. We were talking, Hog Noxious, hey. Nice to hear from you, man. I'm sure you might have been listening the last couple of days. We need some help to quiet the Vandy Whistler down. Thought maybe we could get you on one side of him, Eddie and Clarksville on the other side, and have you guys just shut him up?
I think that's possible, but I'll tell you what will work. If every time he does those 3 beats on the whistle, if the entire crowd will respond, "Go Hogs, go," that'll shut him up.
We had a caller yesterday say the same thing. This might work.
Yeah, I'm all in on that. I think that's the way you shut him up. South Carolina had a coach named Toman, and I just kind of disliked him, and I thought he was the reason for their success. And one series, we were fixing to have a series with him, and I was all ready to get on him. He comes around to his third base coaches, and I said, "Look, it's my favorite coach." And he turned around, threw his arms open wide, and gave me a big grin. It never was the same. You can disarm somebody doing something if you'll just turn it into something you want to do.
All right. Well, you're good at that, Hog Noxious, but what do you have for Clay?
I am all, first of all, I'm all in on the pod system. I like the idea of 4 years. You play every team in every stadium, yours and theirs. I also think I will buy all 4 of you a steak dinner if the winner of the SEC West is not a national seed.
Well, I don't think I'll be eating any steak purchased by you anytime soon.
Now, we've got a 2-game lead with 6 games to go. If we fall apart here, we're not going to make any noise in the postseason anyway.
Just got to keep playing 1 inning at a time. That's what they talk about, and that's the way you play. In golf, you play 1 hole at a time, 1 shot at a time. And, you just kind of boil it down to what you can handle. You don't really – we're doing this because we're fans, sports writers, sportscasters. That's what we do. But as far as the players, they don't really have to worry about that. They just have to – and I thought they were much better this week or this weekend just playing 1 pitch at a time and competing.
And that's what you want to do. You want to start playing your best ball of the whole season right here.
Bobby, I didn't show up for a midweek game and sit with you like you invited. I apologize for that. I'm kind of more of a weekend guy. I don't know if you noticed that.
Well, come on up Sunday. I'll save you a seat.
I figured you would.
He's always got one open for you, Clay. Have you not noticed that? He's been
well,
waiting.
But he kind of spreads out.
No, that's true.
Huh?
That's kind of true.
You spread out, and you throw out your arms. I don't want to get an elbow, call a flagrant 1 on you.
Just wear a batting helmet while you're sitting next to him, Clay. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I was thinking more of the jaw area.
They've got the jaw protectors now. You see, they got
I would
the little
need
shield.
that because he just throws out his arms, and if you're sitting there and you didn't stand up, man, he just smoked you. It just,
Hey, Hog Noxious.
Hey, I love you, Bobby.
We've hit the end of it, man. It's good to talk to you. Thanks for your call. And Clay, it's always good talking with you. Appreciate your time as always. Maybe we'll see you sit next to Hog Noxious on Sunday with a catcher's mask on.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see me there.
Oh, come on. Well, we appreciate it anyway. Thank you, Clay. All right, 877-377-6963 to get with us in the second hour. Bill King will join us at 12:30. Other than that, it's you and us. So stay with us.
In today's world, slow internet equals a bad day. If you're in a rural area, you've experienced this way too often. Online meetings, schoolwork, enjoying family movie night, it's downright impossible. The solution? Fast fiber internet from Wave Rural Connect. Service is available near Uniontown, Van Buren, Pecola, Cass, Ozone, Altus, and many other areas. Check to see if it's available for you at waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Every moment counts. As soon as you test positive for COVID-19, talk to your doctor to see what treatment might be right for you. We now have a variety of options, from monoclonal antibodies to lessen symptom severity and prevent hospitalization, to oral antivirals to treat mild to moderate cases. But the treatments work best the sooner you begin. For more information, go to healthy.arkansas.gov. This message brought to you by the Arkansas Department of Health.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunny and hot. Our high this afternoon will be into the lower 90s, mainly clear sky tonight, mid to upper 60s. Thursday, lots of sunshine, our high low 90s, and Friday we'll see a chance of some showers and storms. Our high on Friday in the middle to upper 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3. Live from the Bushlight Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com. Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
All right, we're on the downslope to the weekend here in the middle of your Wednesday on Halftime. Phil Elson, Drew Barrett, Matty T. 877-377-6963 to get with us. We've had a conversation about the potential 4-team pod division, whatever you want to call it, that Arkansas will find themselves in whenever the SEC does make the decision on how they're going to align this thing, and when it happens. You know it's going to come at the same time that Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC. And we got a text from Tim in Fort Smith here, who I think the way that he's put these out, it helps you do what's the most difficult thing to do, which is keep the historic rivalries alive. And if college football is a sport that's built on tradition of rivalries, and we've seen some of these rivalries just sort of go away. My favorite two rivalries growing up in Pittsburgh as a college football fan was Pitt-Penn State and Pitt versus West Virginia. They don't play them anymore, at least not on an annual basis. So you do have to preserve these kind of things. And the way that Tim laid this out seems to do that just within the divisions in and of themselves, and leaves open the ability to still have a one permanent rival crossover while still preserving the other rivalries. Because really, I mean, a lot of these teams already have rivalries. I mean, they don't have one. They have rivalries that even have just become rivalries in the last 20, 25 years, which is what Arkansas deals with playing in the SEC, because LSU is a rival for Arkansas, but that's in recent history. Same with Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and all of them. So the way that Tim lays this out, I think makes some sense. And you do have in this case Oklahoma, Texas, A&M, and LSU in one division. Now, that doesn't help LSU out for any of their historic rivalries, which I think would be Alabama and Ole Miss.
Well, I mean, that still would only be 3 of your permanent, right? You could still do more permanent, though.
I think there would only be, how many permanent, if you're going to have 6 out-of-pod games, how many permanent crossovers do you have? Probably just 1.
I say 2, and then you have 4 rotators. Because we're also assuming that we go to 9 at this point, right?
Yeah.
So I say we try to solve as many of the rivalries themselves with the pods, and then you get 2 permanent opponents every year, which that should help establish to make sure nobody really gets left out. So let's use Alabama for an example. So Alabama, Auburn, I mean, it's just they're going to be in the pod. That takes care of 1. Now, do you put Georgia in that pod? If you put Tennessee in that pod, that takes care of 2. Then you probably LSU's not in that pod. So there's 1 permanent crossover game right there, and that makes everything done right there. But say like with LSU, who has established a rivalry with Arkansas, with some people in Oxford, Mississippi would say that LSU Ole Miss is a rivalry. That LSU Florida, LSU Alabama. I mean, that's 4 right there. You can't put all 4 in the same pod. So I think you get 2 of those in there and then 2 permanent. And that should take care of everybody to the best that we possibly can. I don't think that there's any math here that you can make it 100% perfect, because if you try to conserve too many current matchups, then you're going to be in the same situation that you are right now, that you don't play somebody. You're in a conference technically with somebody, but you don't see them for 6 years. It's like, are we really in the same conference? I mean, when you only play South Carolina once every 6-7 years, and it takes over a decade for you to possibly go there, I mean, that's insane. You're not in a conference if you haven't played it in a place in over a decade. So we've got to figure out a way to create more matchups among the teams on a shorter basis, but also, you know, save as many of those current matchups that we all love and rivalries that we can. There are going to be a few that fall to the wayside. It just depends on which ones fall.
Let's go to Charlie, who's giving us a call here. Hey, Tuna, how are you doing? What do you got thoughts on divisions, pods, or you got other things you want to talk about?
Man, I'm just as versatile as this show is. So I'm trying to come up with solutions just like you guys are. You know, so we're going to expand to 14. Am I right by this, guys? And I'm not 100% sure by this. And I know I'm having a brain fart here, but am I saying this right? Is the SEC the only conference that we only have 8 conference games, right? And the other conferences do 9. Am I correct by that, or am I wrong?
Not every conference does 9.
I think the ACC does 8.
The ACC does 8.
Well,
the Big Ten does 9. And obviously the Big 12 does 9. I think the Pac-12 still only does 8, though. So there's only 2 of the Power 5s that do 9.
Well, Drew, we're adding to 14, right?
Adding to 16. I already have 14.
Oh.
With Texas and OU, yeah, we're up to 16.
You stopped just in time.
I said, S word. Crap, you're right. Okay. Anyway, no, well, you know, so if we're going to 16, I agree, Drew, man, we got to figure out something. I think they're going to have to, obviously, that would be one thing that we need to do. We need to go to non-conference games. I think they need to look into that, you know, and that's one way to try to, you know, help that. And you're right. You know, when you're playing one of these East teams, you know, once every, you know, 6 years or whatever, it's hard. It's kind of funny, you guys talking about LSU. Are they just rivalries with everybody? Does everyone hate them? Is that what this is?
Pretty much. I mean, anybody that plays them on a normal basis. But, I mean, when you talk about Ole Miss LSU, that one goes way back. I mean, you can go back and find some great games and some great examples from, you know, Billy Cannon at LSU's example is a big example of why Ole Miss hates LSU, because I think back-to-back years he alone, like, beat them and dropped them in the rankings and cost them Sugar Bowls or some type of I'm probably butchering the story, but, you know, they consider them a rival.
I butcher things daily, man. That's just life. Hey, you know, Oklahoma and Texas, so they're going to join the West. Am I correct by that, both of them?
Well, I don't think it's going to be the West by the time they get here. It's going to be something else.
Okay,
it's going to be 14
right.
divisions. Yeah, you're not going to have an East and a West. I don't know what you'll name it, and maybe pod 1, 2, 3, or 4. Hopefully, we don't go leaders and legends and stuff like that.
We go East, North, Central, and West. I don't know.
Yeah. That's probably what they're going to have to do.
It doesn't matter what you name them. It just matters who's in them and what games are preserved.
It does matter because the Big Ten messed it up when they went to, what was the Legends and the...
Right, like I just said.
But that was weird.
It
like,
took
it
them
does
3
matter.
years to name it after geographic division.
It does matter what you name it because it is weird.
you don't name it. You don't name it something dumb that nobody that you know is going to be made fun of immediately. Which I thought whoever came up with the
tuna or
Legends
something
leaders
like
name.
that. No one wants to name anything that.
You know, like the NHL used to have divisions named after founders of the league, the Patrick division, the Calder division, the Norris division, and all that. It confused everybody. East and West makes a heck of a lot more sense to everyone.
No, I would actually think, Phil, I'm going to say this. If they named it Charlie, Phil, Matty, Drew, that's pretty good.
I wouldn't mind a pod named after me.
Oh, sorry. We're all in our own pod.
But I don't think we're high on the list in Birmingham for things to be named after.
I know.
Charlie, every Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, the four of us are in a pod for like 5 or 6 minutes. So we're not going to have them named after ourselves.
Yeah, I agree. Well, anyway, guys, I really appreciate it, and I'm going to let y'all go real quick. But, Drew, I do want to say this before I go. Memphis is going to win this game tonight, man. They're going to force Game 6.
Charlie, I hope you're right. You got more faith than I do.
Well, I think they'll find a way, man. Make it ugly, and that's their chance. Make it ugly like Game 5. They'll have a chance. All right, man. I appreciate it, guys.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Charlie. And again, I like Tim's texts here and his ideas. 14 pods would be OU, Texas, A&M, LSU. The other would be Mizzou, Arkansas, Mississippi, Mississippi State. I think you probably switch LSU and Mizzou because LSU has no other than recent history against A&M. Oklahoma and Texas and LSU I don't think belong in the same division. So you can make a Big 8 or a Big 12 division, whatever it is you want to call it, with Mizzou and the Texas teams in Oklahoma. Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU. I think I
think you like your chances in that one.
I think that's a division that makes sense. It's got historic, it's got history behind it too. The last 30 years makes sense. Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn. That preserves rivalries, with Tennessee, Alabama. Same with Kentucky, Alabama. You get the Iron Bowl thrown in there too. Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia. It's just like you got to put Vanderbilt somewhere. But putting Florida and Georgia in the same division, I think, is a good way to go. And then the other thing, to have 2 permanent crossovers, then you're playing everybody every 3 years. And that makes it feel like a league, like a real league. I like how Tim is going here. Tim, maybe there's an opening for schedule maker in the SEC. He lives in Fort Smith. Are you willing to move to Birmingham?
I like his pods. I do. But it does feel, we talked about how do you balance it out. I think out of those pods, and that's if we switch Mizzou and LSU, I think the only pod that really seems balanced and fair kind of across the board would be that LSU, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and State pod, at least today. I mean, like we said, we have no idea where these programs or what their records or how everybody's going to look this time in 2025 or 2028 or 2030. We have no idea what programs are going to look like, but based off of 2022, only one really doesn't seem too lopsided. Well, I think you have clear-cut top 2 teams in the other ones.
And that's for now. I mean, you're going to have an 800-pound gorilla in each division. That's just the way it's going to be. But you also, JT asked, so what do you do with the yearly Georgia-Auburn game? Permanent crossovers. There you go. Georgia and Auburn are a permanent crossover.
Pods
Arkansas,
are only
Texas.
You only have 3 opponents in the pod, so you got to get to 9. There's 6 other games.
Arkansas versus Texas would be a permanent crossover. I'd like to see that. Maybe you keep the Missouri thing. I don't know, but there are ways. You keep a lot of these games then that matter. And that also matter to ESPN, who's going to have a hand in who decides in the decisions on what these things look like.
Their opinion is going to matter. I'm going to say their opinion counts for 100% of what happens, and ours counts for 0. Well, so we can throw out as many great ideas as we want. But I don't think Greg Sankey's listening to me as he is taking a phone call from Bristol.
If you're signing mega media deals worth billions of dollars with a television organization, then you probably look at yourself as, well, we need to deliver really good matchups to get a lot of eyes to the television to keep them happy, so that we can get more billions of dollars the next time that these negotiations come around. All right, we're brought to you by The Fence Man. They got great jobs open right now for fence builders or anyone with building experience. They offer great pay, and the Fence Man also has a $500 sign-on bonus. So you can join them and get that sign-on bonus by applying in person in Fort Smith at 1213 North 32nd Street. That's the Fence Man, and they are an equal opportunity employer. Our number at halftime is 877-377-6963. We had a rookie no-no in Major League Baseball, and we'll touch on that next.
I think you can be awfully proud of the way your fans are with you. I've never seen stands so full of life. The whole state was behind you. There was a spirit there about it, Coach, and that means that your team has done something that's really great for this state.
Thank you, sir. We're very proud of our fans. They've had a big part in the success that we've had.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Taylor down the sideline. Touchdown, Arkansas.
Hello, this is Sue from the paint store in Van Buren. We are set and ready for all your spring and summer projects. We keep real samples of your Richards paint on file so we can be sure it matches every time. No computer can do that. The paint store in Van Buren. Color expertise and 34 years of knowledge outweighs all the competition. No other paint seller can do that. The paint store in Van Buren, Fayetteville Road, 474-4505.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. You are sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at the new location for Bush Tractor at 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Again, that is 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
Ashley Air wants you to save $2,000 off on a high-efficiency heating and cooling system during the Memorial Day Beat the Heat Summer Sale. The trained technicians at Ashley Air are experts in making your home more energy efficient with a new 15-SEER system or higher, which will provide you with a lifetime of energy savings and comfort. And with 0 down and 72-month financing, why wait? Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your money-saving install. That's AshleyAir.com. Ashley Air is a proud sponsor of Razorback Athletics.
When you want beer, you go to a bar. When you want top-shelf spirits, wines, handcrafted cocktails, and cigars, in an atmosphere benefiting a destination, you go to 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Try our new menu items including fish and chips, classic club sandwiches, Caesar and Cobb salads, or stick to your favorites, dine in or carry out. Enjoy our state-of-the-art air filtration system. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife here.
When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Jason Aldean says there's only 2 means of salvation around here that seem to work: whiskey or the Bible, shot glass or revival. He doesn't want to be stuck in these 2 ruts. He needs something in between to fulfill his dreams. Hebrews 7:25 says, Jesus is able to save completely those who draw near to God through him. Don't trust your spiritual strut or placing your butt in a church pew or bar stool, because all 3 will lie to you. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Ground ball. Velasquez throws across. He did it! Reed Detmers throws a no-hitter!
And our first no-hitter of the Major League season, first complete game no-hitter thrown by one pitcher in the Major League season. And it comes from a rookie, from Reed Detmer, who was the 10th overall pick of the 2020 draft out of Louisville. And there's only 3 members of that first round that have made it to the major leagues. And Heston Kjerstad, of course, was picked second in that draft, and his career's not even gotten started. He's been dealing with a major hamstring strain that's kept him out of the first 5 weeks of the minor league season. But anyway, this no-hitter had it all. I mean, it literally had it all, except strikeouts. How do you throw a no-hitter in Major League Baseball these days with 2 strikeouts?
I have no idea.
It's amazing.
That is absolutely amazing to think that somebody can do that, to be a pitch-to-contact pitcher for 9 straight innings. That's incredible. I mean, and that's some great defense behind you, too.
There were just a couple of base runners. He walked 1. Did you see the error that was charged to the Angels' first baseman, Jared Walsh?
I did not see the error.
I think it was a legitimate error. Not the easiest play, but all he had to do was take a step to his right, field the ball cleanly, and you've got to play at first base. And he botched it. So it's like, and this happened, I think it was in the 7th inning. So, everybody's eyes, and you and I have talked about what it's like to be an official scorer. Everybody's eyes in that stadium zooming right up there to the RHE to see whether the H or the E went up first, and it was the E. And it was legit. Even the batter who reached base said it was legit.
And being that guy that has to make that decision, I mean, it is nerve-wracking, especially if you're in a situation like that where there's a no-hitter on the line or, just different aspects of the game. Like, you go back and forth with yourself 1,000 times in 10 seconds because that's all you have until the next play, and you've got to officially score that. You can't go. You can go back and change it, but you like to get it right the first time. And oh man, I bet he was sweating bullets, and everybody was looking at him.
Well, and the guy who reached base was Brett Phillips, who then becomes position player pitching. Did you see any of Brett Phillips pitching the last inning for the Rays as they got no hit by the Angels yesterday? He was throwing the tastiest looking meatballs you've ever had in a bowl with spaghetti and red sauce. I mean, it was amazing to see him lay it right down there. Mike Trout hit a home run off of him, and then it was his second home run. Anthony Rendon, who's a right-handed hitter, not a switch hitter, hit a left-handed home run off of him.
Nice.
At 101 miles an hour off the bat.
Because you might as well, right?
Why not? Yeah, why not? Just step up to the – I have never seen a batter who is full-time one side even take an at-bat from the other side in a game, because you would think, I mean, these are these dudes' statistics. Why give up an at-bat? Obviously, Rendon can hit a little bit left-handed. He had a bigger leg kick than Darryl Strawberry times 10 on the home run that he hit. It was incredible, and that was even before the real tension of the 9th inning, which was 3 easy plays for Detmer to throw this no-hitter in just his 11th career start. So, I mean, these don't happen very often. Rookie no-hitters, 25 all time, and some of them have had good careers. There was a rookie no-hitter thrown last year, Tyler Gilbert. We'll see how his career works out. Before that, 2015 was the last time that a rookie threw a no-hitter. Anybody heard of Chris Heston that's not a Giants fan?
I've heard of him. If he walked in the room right now, I couldn't tell you who he is.
His career ended 2 years after the no-hitter. Clay Buchholz threw one for the Red Sox in 2007. He had a good career. Anibal Sanchez, good career. Bud Smith. Cardinals fans will remember Bud Smith. No-hitter as a rookie in 2001. I think he threw one the next year, too. arm injuries cost him his career, and he never really moved forward past that first no-hitter. Wilson Alvarez, Steve Busby, Jim Bibby, Bert Hooton. Vida Blue's the only rookie to throw a no-hitter that eventually won a Cy Young in his career, and there's only been one Hall of Famer to pitch a no-hitter in his rookie season, and it's Christy Mathewson, all the way back in 1901. There's even been an instance of a guy throwing a no-hitter in his first major league start, Bobo Holloman for the St. Louis Browns. I think it was like 1952.
That's an old man's name.
Yeah, Bobo Holloman. And he never pitched after that 1 year in the majors, and he throws a no-hitter in his major league debut. That's crazy.
Oh, once he never threw again after that. He was referred to as Bobo the Hobo.
I wonder if
it's just too easy.
His name anyway,
It could have been his name because they always had weird, crazy names back there, back from 1900 through the 1960s. Started to slow down, I think, with the names in the 70s and 80s, and now outside of Albert Pujols with the machine, does anybody have a really good nickname?
I don't even really know what their nicknames are. But there was another rookie no-hitter thrown by a guy whose name was Bo. So maybe there's a Bobo thing. This had an Arkansas connection to it. And his name was Bo Belinsky. He threw a no-hitter for the Angels as a rookie in his fourth start, 1962. He had pitched for the Arkansas Travelers the year before when they were an Orioles affiliate, believe it or not.
Oh.
And eventually got over to the Angels and threw a no-hitter in his first month. And his career, while he stuck around in the big leagues through 1970, he worked pitching for a team in Southern California at that time. He got himself mixed in with the Hollywood crowd and eventually became known as one of the biggest playboys in all of Hollywood. Like, Bo Belinsky dated Anne Margaret. He dated Joe Collins, who was a Playboy Playmate of the Year.
Wow.
Married her, in fact, and a number of others.
Good for you, Bo Belinsky.
Yeah. He didn't have a great major league career, but he had a great career doing other things, including as a recovering alcoholic, helping fix people's lives before he died. It's kind of an interesting story about this guy, Bo Belinsky, who did pitch for the Travelers in 1961. And is one of 25 players to ever throw a no-hitter in his rookie season. Halftime is brought to you by BUSR. That's the place to get all your best odds on baseball games, on NBA playoffs, on the NHL playoffs, on the upcoming PGA Championship, and you can play blackjack or all other live casino games right there at BUSR.com. If you use BUSR.com/morningrush when you register, then you'll get an exclusive 100% deposit bonus on your account. You put in $500, get $500. It's just like that. Just use BUSR.com/morningrush. Bet with confidence, bet with BUSR, and stay tuned because Bill King is up next on Halftime.
Whatever you're looking for, hey, don't come around here no more.
FanDuel Sportsbook NBA same-game parlays give you the chance to turn a little bet into a big payday. Choose any NBA game and combine multiple bets into one wager for bigger wins. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code PLAY to bet the NBA today. That's promo code PLAY exclusively on FanDuel Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
21 plus and present in Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, Wyoming, or West Virginia. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-877-7770-STOP in Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
Racing fans, it's time for the second leg of the horse racing's Triple Crown. Where are you going to bet? BUSR, of course. Place your wager on the Preakness Stakes today and lock in fantastic odds. Besides horses, you can bet on sports and play over 300 casino games at BUSR. Sign up today and get up to $1,000 on your first deposit by going to BUSR.com/Morning Rush. That's BUSR.com/Morning Rush. Bet with confidence. Bet with BUSR.
Get the best value, service, and TV locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. WOW World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details, or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling, next to Frank Rowe Furniture. That's 601 Church Street in Barling. Come see us at our new location.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! I'm so bright. You know you could have been a candle. I'm holding you so tight. You know you could have been a handle. The way you swept me off my feet. You know you could have been a broom. And baby, it sounds so sweet. You know you could have been some perfume. Well, you could have been anything that you wanted to. I can take it. The way you do the things you do. Alright, the way you do the things you do. As pretty as you are. You know you could have been a flower. Your good looks were made.
Find us on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Bill King, usually good to give us some of his time here on a Wednesday, and we always appreciate that. He is the king of college football talk on Nashville Sports Radio from 6 to 9, Monday through Friday. Bill, we've been doing Vandy Whistler Hate Week all week long. You were the guy to tell me, I think that was 3 or 4 years ago, about it's not just one guy, it's two of them. And I'm assuming at least one of them is going to be here at Baum Walker this upcoming weekend because they don't miss series. We're trying to find ways to keep them out, or at least drown them out a little bit. I don't know of another fan or two fans in all of the SEC or maybe all of college sports that are more annoying. So I'm really hopeful that we can quiet these guys down as soon as possible.
One of them, and I used to know the other guy's name, but one of them's name is Preacher Franklin. I'm not kidding. Yep. That is his name, Preacher Franklin. And apparently, I don't know enough about whistling, but apparently they're not similar in their delivery or their cadence or whatever you would call it. But yeah, they can annoy you. See, I live here. I guess I'm just used to it watching their games. I never notice it, but boy, of other fans, it's fingernails on a chalkboard to all other fans. I understand that.
Well, the fans that sit around, you like some people have texted into the show, like, why don't the fans around him do something about it? They clap with him. Like, that's just, they're part of his routine. So even Tim Corbin has said, the guy pays his money. I mean, he's allowed to make as much noise as he wants to, and if it helps his team, then so be it.
Now, they've been called out by security at road games before. I mean, just because of whistling, they don't ever try and fight people. These are old guys now, real old guys. I think they've had some university department people approach them during games to chill them down a little bit. And then I think they've had some fans that probably had a few too many pops try and get into it with them. So when they go on the road, they understand that there could be trouble.
Yeah, I read about the story of the Mississippi State fans that kind of did have a little too much to drink after a game at Hawkins, and they went at him a little bit. I'm not advocating for that, not violence.
Right.
But let's drown them out a little bit. I brought this up early in the show. You see how this I don't know if there was an announcement, but from this NCAA committee or subcommittee, that the conferences are going to be getting the autonomy to decide how many coaches, how many scholarships for all of the sports on each campus within the conference. So if you're the SEC and you have the most dominant league in college baseball, I was talking with Dave Van Horn about this. Maybe you fund 17, maybe you fund 20 scholarships, maybe you fund 27 of them. But this would be one of the only ways to kind of bring Vanderbilt down to earth a little bit more, because they do have this advantage with the ability to toss out the need-based scholarships. That would kind of change things for Vandy in baseball, wouldn't it?
I talked to Tim Corbin about this 10 years ago whenever they went into New York City and got Pedro Alvarez, number one prospect in America. New York City, whose dad drove a cab, and Pedro never had a penny of debt. Matter of fact, he had money in his pocket from need-based aid and everything else. And Jim was just telling me, this is how we do it. And Pedro Alvarez, other than Vanderbilt's brands, probably never heard of Vanderbilt, right? But and we've been talking about this. If they leave it league to league, and Nick Saban gets 100 scholarships, if you let them do it. What I read was it was partial scholarship sports. But if this is autonomy league by league, God knows what we're about to have happen someday.
Yeah, and Bill, it feels like we're going backwards because we put these scholarship limits in for a reason, right? There was once a time where you could offer 100 scholarships to guys and bring them all onto campus and then whittle your way down and cut them out. Who does this really benefit? Because for them to change the rule outside of the, like you said, the select sports and of course baseball with 11.7 is absolutely ridiculous. But if they do put it into college basketball, into college football, what's the point? I mean, if it doesn't really help make anything better, then why even do it in the first place?
Well, there's a plus and a minus. More scholarships is always good, but it means more people don't get to play, which means more unhappiness. And you got to remember, if you're adding scholarships in the men's sports, federal law says you got to add it in the women's Title IX. So you got to be careful there. You know what you're doing. You know what your balancing act is.
And wouldn't that just make the transfer portal more of a problem? Because you'd have even more people in because there'd be more unhappy folks who might have been happier if they would have gone to a group of five school instead of getting that last 85th scholarship offer from an Alabama. And now they're on the outside looking in, and then we've got more of a mess.
I am sure that being part of the Alabama football program is fun, even for those who
I'm sure it is.
You know, or understand that they're blocking dummies. I'd rather play. I'd rather get a chance to play. That's where the fun is. Football is a crappy sport if you're not getting to play, or B, you're losing all the time. It's the worst sport when it comes to that. And yeah, It's anytime you adjust whatever you're doing, there's consequences on the other end that you don't think out clearly.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that we've been talking about a lot today is the pods, and that's going to be a conversation that's going on all through summer and everything like that. But with the news that the NCAA is going to basically tell conferences they can get rid of divisions, determine their own champion the way that they want to, outside of the SEC when they get to 16, do you think that other conferences will get rid of divisions and kind of try to reinvent the wheel here?
I think we're going to see some of that as early as 23. I think we've got one more year. I'm not saying everybody ditches divisions immediately a year from now, but I think as early as the 23 season, we will see teams that do not play under the format we're used to seeing them play, meaning divisions and some kind of pod set up. I think the ACC is really close from what we understand. And I think the SEC, basically, they've been talking about this for a while. They're not sure what they want to do yet. And again, we don't even know when Texas and Oklahoma can come unless they get out of the contract and pay the money. So they're probably waiting to see what happens there too. How soon?
I would think a move to to 4-team divisions or pods or whatever you want to call it, like that has to coincide with Alabama. Oh, I'm sorry, with Texas and Oklahoma coming into the league. There's no other way to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Hey,
I think you're right.
I saw over the weekend that the top 2024 player recruit, Dylan Raiola, a quarterback who's playing in Texas, chose Ohio State for 2024. And we're still waiting on Arch Manning, to make his decision. And he's got like this tour that he's taking this summer, visiting Alabama, visiting Texas, visiting Georgia. But it feels like is it a foregone conclusion that we're going to see Arch Manning playing in the SEC? And I mean, heck, if he's with Texas or if he's with Alabama, potentially he's going to be playing against the Razorbacks more than once.
If you include Texas, yes, but I think it's going to be. I think right now Texas probably leads, and then you've got Alabama, which I think they're going to end up taking Eli Hoisteen out of Louisiana. Now, the Dominic Raiola kid is his dad's very famous offensive lineman, Dominic Raiola, played for Nebraska, played in the NFL for about 15 years. And this kid's a big 225-pound, right now sophomore, junior to be, who's rated maybe the top player in the class of 24. Now, again, that can adjust after several years, but they've been lining up quarterbacks about as good as anybody else, the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I mean, they've got C.J. Stroud this year, and then afterwards it'll be Kyle McCord or Devin Brown. So, I mean, they've kind of got their quarterback situation figured out for like the next 4 years, potentially. I mean, they thought they had Quinn Ewers figured out too, and now he's a Texas Longhorn. So that's what college sports is like now, right?
It is, and looking back on it, maybe Quinn Ewers played everybody. Maybe he knew he wasn't going to be able to go in there and get them to bow to him. He got a really good NIL deal, supposedly $1 million in that big old truck. Played it for about, till spring, then packed up his bags. And he was quoted the other day saying the Longhorns has always been his dream. So I'm just wondering if he ever had any intent of staying at Ohio State.
So, I mean, we haven't even really brought this up very much. The idea of these guidelines for collectives and boosters to not be allowed to have contact with recruits or players that are in the or that are still with the team before they go into the transfer portal. And I keep reading the experts that are talking to coaches, that are talking to people that are behind the scenes of how all of this is getting done, and they all say the same thing. Like, they think it's adorable. They use the word adorable for the NCAA to even think that they're going to be able to police this because there's too much of a gray area. So, I mean, what did this announcement from about how to handle collectives and not being able for anybody with the collectives or booster organizations to have contact with these student athletes, I mean, why even come out with this?
I think it's more embarrassing to announce you're going to really care than just not do anything. I think this is even more embarrassing. I tweeted this. This would be like, here's a metaphor for you. Showing up a year after the meltdown at Chernobyl You show up with a water hose, wearing flip-flops, drinking a Natty Light. That's about what we're looking at here, guys. It's they don't. First of all, they're not even staffed well enough to do this. The collectives are smarter than the people investigating, and they're richer. It's just laughable.
Well, that's pretty much the way that I looked at it. It's like and of course you're gonna bring up an idea of a Natty Light sitting there. That's definitely the way I would have thought you'd describe it, though, Bill. But it is correct. It's a reactive statement. It's not the NCAA getting out ahead of anything, because the collectives and the boosters and really the athletes too are just so far ahead of where the NCAA was or is. So this was just like the coaches say we got to do something about this. So here we're just going to say something.
That's a good point. It's messy. It's not going to be clean for a while. It may never get clean. You got to remember, the NCAA is the member institutions. I mean, do these smarter than thou presidents in their ivory tower who look down at the peasants, do they just turn their head? Do they all of a sudden care? It makes no sense.
It's going to be a wild summer with these statements coming out from committees and subcommittees and then trying to make sense of it all. But, I mean, it's a transformation summer for college athletics, no doubt. Bill, we appreciate you, man. We'll let you go with that.
Guys.
Thanks for your time and enjoy
Appreciate
the
it,
Natty
Bill.
Light. I know you will. Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio. Anytime he brings up anything involving alcohol, it's going to involve a Natty Light, that's for sure. Brought to you by Baxter Regional Medical Center, nonprofit health system focused on providing high-quality, compassionate care since 1963. Baxter Regional services and specialties continue to expand, meeting the needs of their 11-county service area all across north central Arkansas and south central Missouri. Things like neurosurgery, comprehensive heart program that now includes TAVR, urology, women's health, orthopedic care, pain management, and much more that you can learn online at baxterregional.org. Over 250 providers, over 1,800 employees, and over 40 locations from Harrison to Hardy and West Plains to Mountain View. That's Baxter Regional Medical Center. Wrapping up halftime after this quick break.
Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Always online at randallford.com. Rocky, one of the things you guys are doing right now is buying vehicles outright from people, not just trading it in, but buying them.
That's exactly right. I mean, with book values as high as they are, that means auctions are selling vehicles super high. So we would much rather be able to hand that money locally in this community, buy local, low-mile vehicles. And yeah, like you said, you don't have to come to the dealership and spend the money. You can come to the dealership and we'll give it to you.
Rocky, you know people that have multiple cars, some of which they're not using. They're just kind of sitting there collecting dust. Why not sell it to you guys and make some money off of it?
Man, I've got that issue myself. Thinking about doing a couple of those. Absolutely. Bring it by. Let us take a look at it. Let's put an offer and a little bit of cash in your pocket.
Rocky, what specifically are you guys looking for?
5 years or newer and south of 80,000 miles is ideal, but we're open to anything. So bring it by and let's have a look at it.
Come by and see Rocky with your vehicle today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Always online at randallford.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Everyone loves great Tex-Mex. The best Tex-Mex around is at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Tex-Mex brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, pork belly tacos, and the best fajitas in town. And when the Hogs are on TV, it's always half-price apps and taps. Your favorite drinks and the best Tex-Mex in town is at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Why do people do business with First Western? Because First Western builds relationships with all of their customers. They partner for the long haul to help you with your financial goals over all seasons of life. First Western is prompt, responsive, and they deliver with quick answers and on-time loan closings. When is the last time your banker called you? If you are looking for a high level of service and a financial partner who will listen and respond, try First Western. For more information, visit them online at firstwestern.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hell yes! Hey folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources, where we've just had the perfect storm. Yeah, we got hail, but just enough to create a tsunami of savings for our customers. That's right, little bitty damage and great big old savings on a great selection of Rath road-ready vehicles. But you want to hurry in for the best selection, because this inventory is turning like a tornado. If you have damage on your car, bring it in. We'll trade for it just like it is, even if it looks like a Titleist. If you're keeping your car, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with free AC check, half-off brakes, and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, trade it in and say hell yes to this perfect storm of savings. Don't wait till they're all fixed. Don't wait till they're all gone. Start driving better today during the hell yes sale at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
In constant sorrow through his day, I am the man of constant sorrow.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Okay, you're going to wrap things up here on halftime. And time to update a story from last month. Everybody knew Tyson wasn't going to get charged from punching that schmuck on the airplane, right? Well, he didn't get charged.
Because he asked for it.
In the court of public opinion, I think most people were on his side.
In the court of public opinion, I think most people wanted the drunk not only to get punched by Mike Tyson,
worse,
but he probably deserved some jail time.
I love
that to teach people to quit being, the way that they are.
You can tell who the sociopaths are, depending on who it is they choose to annoy on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that chooses to annoy Mike Tyson
You got
on
a death
purpose,
wish, buddy.
Yeah, and I don't care if Mike Tyson is 95 years old. That's just not. You don't ever mess with somebody who still looks like he is potentially the baddest man on earth.
No, and this guy looked like Glass Joe.
Yes, he did. He really did. That's a good stand-up video game connection there, Matty.
I was about to say
done.
I didn't get it, but
It's from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!
I know
It was one of the
I know
early
the video game, but I don't remember Glass Joe.
Glass Joe was the first boxer,
the easiest one
That way
that
you
faced.
beat him up real quick.
That was for the little kids to get past the first level.
He was just before Piston Hurricane, who was just before Bald Bull, who was just before Kid.
How do you remember
something or other?
Did you play this game yesterday?
There's the Arcadia in Fayetteville's got it. It's been a minute since I've been at Arcadia. I think I've got to fix that.
I'll be up in Fayetteville later today, so maybe I'll have to stop by and play some video games.
Oh, maybe we can be there at the same time, and I can teach you a thing or two about
Maybe you
beating
can.
Glass Joe, which is what this dude looked exactly like. But I also love that this complete idiot he's a habitual felony offender in Florida, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Everything starts and ends in Florida, right? We all knew that.
He's been sentenced to 25 months for grand theft, according to court records, where he lives in Charlotte County, Florida, and has been convicted of fraud by identity theft, trafficking in stolen property, possession of drug paraphernalia. He might have had some in his pocket on that airplane doing that, yeah. And possession of a controlled substance without a prescription.
And he's only getting 25 months for that?
Oh, man. He should be sentenced to 25 more punches from Mike Tyson.
That seems a little low. I mean, we're talking just barely over 2 years, and for all that big of a list of stuff? Who's this guy's lawyer?
Honestly, I'm surprised sometimes when I see the
when you have
minimal
that
amount
long of a list,
yeah,
and
jail
you're just
time
like,
some people get.
Really?
It's
And
like,
then
wow,
you
you're
see
still on the streets?
And then you see somebody that has a small little thing, and it's
Right,
like
yeah.
4 years. You're like, what? It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. But that guy, maybe he gets smarter over the next 25 months.
He sure doesn't look smart.
I highly doubt it.
No, you're not smart if you're. Hey, if you just ask to get a photo with a celebrity, like that's one.
I still don't understand how he had a seat behind Mike Tyson in the first place.
Yeah, how was he in first class?
Because he probably stole someone's
ticket.
ticket.
That's right. That was identity theft.
We just heard that he was charged with identity theft.
Yeah, that seat actually belonged to like
so.
somebody's 90-year-old grandmother, and he was in her seat.
Poor Doris.
Annoying Mike Tyson.
Doris would have been great to sit behind Mike Tyson. She brings her own
Why
cookies.
couldn't he have bit his ear off?
I'm going to leave these people alone on airplanes, man. It's like I remember getting on an airplane with my daughter when she was young enough where I could get on the airplane first.
Mm-hmm.
And we were flying to Little Rock. And I think it was from Atlanta on a Delta jet. And she just wants to run to the seat, of course. And there's only one other person on the plane other than the staff members.
Mm-hmm.
And she runs right past the guy who's sitting in first class all by himself. And as I'm running down the aisle to chase my I think she was 3 years old daughter to our seats, I realized as I'm looking at the guy to my left and I'm running by, I said this. I was like, "Is that Matthew McConaughey?" And it was.
Was it really? No way.
It most definitely was.
Oh.
I think he was in Arkansas filming Mud.
Oh, great movie.
But I wasn't going to stop and ask him for an autograph at that point because I thought my daughter was running to the back to jump out of the airplane.
I was about to say, I don't think she can push open the door. You had a minute to take a selfie. Great movie, by the way, Mud. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it. It is absolutely phenomenal. And I don't just say that because the director's from Memphis, but he is.
Oh, that was the
Are
other
we
thing.
sharing stories about the most famous people we've been near but weren't able to get autographs?
On an airplane. On an airplane only.
Okay.
On an airplane, I sat 2 rows up from Alyssa Orange on the way back from Buffalo.
That's a pretty big name.
I mean, Bob Holt was catty-cornered from me on the same flight.
Yeah, try to top that one, Phil.
Exactly. I was smushed between greatness. That's probably the biggest celebrity people I've ever actually known I've been on a plane with.
Maddie, did you have one?
Not on a plane.
Not on a plane.
No.
How about a train?
I was once in a pizza place in Connecticut, and Patrick Stewart was in there.
Patrick Stewart?
But I could not even get near him.
I once walked by Tim Allen in a parking lot at Yellowstone National Park. Does that count?
That's pretty good.
That's not bad?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Tool Man?
Yeah, he was the Tool Man. We once had Ted Danson at an Arkansas Travelers
Now
game.
everybody's seen Ted Danson and Judge
and
Reinhold.
it still blew my mind that Ted Danson could listen to me on the radio. Like, I love Ted Danson. Mr. Mayor, the new show, great. Love it.
He's Sam Malone. He's not Ted Danson. All right, for Maddie and Drew, I'm Phil. Till tomorrow, get up, get out, get better.
Community, where you create a home, you shop.